This is Great FM, a podcast series by Great HR. Produced by Timber Media.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Great FM. I'm your host, Ahalya, and today's episode is bringing focus back into the workplace, physical, virtual, whatever it may be, through the lens of our lovely managers. Over the past few years, the role of the manager has undergone one of the most significant transformations in modern work. For any of you listening that are managers, you've experienced this transformation firsthand. And for all of us who report to managers, the same thing, right? It was a role that was once primarily about oversight and execution and has now evolved into something far more complex. Managers today are expected to be coaches, ambassadors of culture, change leaders, and increasingly translators of business strategy into action. They're really the bridge between leadership and the rest of the workforce. And rightfully so. It's a necessary and good change, but it can be a nuanced and challenging one too. Now, simultaneously, we've also seen the fabric of organizational structure change as well. And that brings about a certain kind of tension, right? As expectations of managers rise, support systems don't always keep pace. And this creates a critical question for organizations today, which is how do managers and HR move from operating in parallel to really enabling each other? So that's the question we're unpacking in today's episode with the help of Vandana Tilwani, CHRO, Havas India, and Chief Inclusion Officer, Havas APAC. Hi, Vandana. Thank you so much for being here. And I have to say, very unique title there that I might want to unpack, Chief Inclusion Officer. But first, let's say a highs and hellos. Welcome.
Hi, Ahalya. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. And before we get into it, tell me a little bit about being a CIO, but in terms of inclusion. That's a really unique title that you don't hear very often.
It's just that over the last, since I joined my organization in 2020, we have organically, done so much work in the space of diversity and inclusion. Mm-hmm. And I just realized that it's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And we've made such strides that it was a very logical move for me to move into this role at an APAC level. Diversity and inclusion is a big agenda for Havas globally. And, it gives me a lot of joy to see, organizations thrive and be diverse and, women getting opportunities, seeing, organizations which have diverse people coming from LGBTQI plus community, people in different age groups. It's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And we've been doing this since 2020. And I just think that as an organization, we just enjoy having that kind of a organization where people from different backgrounds, different communities can come and thrive. And it just happened, Chief Inclusion Officer happened like that.
Amazing. I'm so glad to see that was articulated, through a leadership role. And now to dive into our conversation today, which is the evolving role of managers, right? Let's start with the big picture, Vandana. How has the role of the manager fundamentally changed over the past few years? And what are the most important shifts that you are seeing across organizations, since you do have that, top-up aerial view?
Yes. So over the past few years, I think the role of the manager has, shifted from basic supervision to actual people stewardship. Like earlier, the managers were largely evaluated on how well they delivered outputs. Today, they are equally responsible for creating the conditions in which people can actually do their best work. So that's like a big shift that has happened. Mm-hmm. And I think several forces have made that happen, like things like hybrid work. There is a lot more focus today on well-being. Workforces, like I said, are more diverse today. And of course, the pace of technological changes. I think today managers are expected to be coaches, like you said. They have to be cultural carriers. They have to be connectors. So in a way, they are translating organizational intent into everyday experiences for their teams. And what I find absolutely interesting is that managers are now sitting at the intersection of business performance plus employee experience and also organizational truth. The role has become more complex, but also more influential than ever before.
Couldn't agree with you more there. And I do think it's important how we, shift our perception of value as well, right? With this evolution that's happening. And
Yeah.
like we spoke about at the very beginning of the conversation, there's often a gap between what organizations expect from managers and also what they're enabled to do, right? So do you see that being a big disconnect today? And if not, are there other bigger disconnects that you'd like to spotlight in the conversation?
There definitely are disconnects. I think the biggest one that I see is that the expectations have expanded much faster than the capabilities available today. I think managers are expected to not only support mental well-being, they are leading diverse teams, they are adopting new technologies, they are supposed to drive engagement and yet deliver on aggressive business goals. But many organizations haven't fully equipped them with time, tools, or even the training to do all of this well. I think another disconnect is around decision-making authority. We ask managers to be accountable for team outcomes, but sometimes they don't have enough autonomy to make meaningful decisions around resources and then the workloads or even priorities. So the challenge for organizations today is to move from telling managers what they should do to enabling them to actually do it.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfectly reasonable ask from the manager fraternity as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, just given the nature of that kind of change, I think HR is the perfect bridge or conduit, let's say, between managers and the larger organizational ecosystem. And when it comes down to that, we can't possibly avoid the AI conversation either, with organizations really investing heavily in AI, introducing it into workflows, encouraging employees to get familiar with it. I think at this point, as we see organizations change and also expect managers to evolve with it, a big part of their work is also being reassuring to their employees, right? To their teams, ensuring that adoption happens smoothly, but not at the cost of employee morale and team member morale. So how do you think they need to function and operate in that regard?
See, managers are literally the bridge between technology and people. AI obviously can create excitement, but it can also create anxiety. Questions around job security, the capability gaps, or simply the fear of the unknown. I think in that scenario, managers play a very critical role in normalizing that whole experimentation, creating psychological safety around learning and all that. One of the most powerful things a manager can do is shift the narrative from AI will replace us to AI will augment us.
Right.
I think they help teams understand where AI can remove repetitive work and free up time for more creative and strategic thinking. I think equally important is modeling behavior. So when managers themselves are curious and open to learning and transparent about their own learning journey through AI, the teams by default, they tend to follow that lead. So I think they need to create that environment where people feel like, it's safe to talk about it, to learn, to experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the word augmentation as well, because I think we're increasingly realizing that AI isn't a silver bullet. It's not the solution to every single problem that you could ever have on the planet. And so, you can't use it all the time, 24/7.
It comes with limitations. Let's just say it comes with limitations, and it still requires a lot of human intervention in order to get the final output. So I think it's a great enabler. And that's what people really need to understand. And maybe that's what managers need to communicate to their team members.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you also said about creating an environment where they feel safe to experiment. I think the best managers today are the ones who are driving results by embracing this change, right? Rather than shying away from it. So that's a very important point. Now, from an HR perspective, what does real support for managers actually look like? You said that there's definitely a disconnect, right? So let's talk about the other side of the coin, which is what does support in that case look like? So, is it training programs, systems, tools, any structural changes that you would recommend at this point?
I think the real support really goes beyond training programs.
Right.
Of course, capability building matters, whether it is, leadership development, coaching skills, or even navigating hybrid teams. But equally important are systems and structures that reduce friction in a manager's day-to-day work. For example, clear performance frameworks, simpler processes, access to data and insights, and tools that make people management easier rather than more administrative. I think HR really needs to act as a thought partner to managers, not just a policy function. When managers feel like they have a space to discuss people challenges, experiment with solutions, and even learn from each other, that's when the real support becomes visible and valuable.
Yeah. So in your experience, have there been, even with your work as a CHRO, have there been any particular training programs, systems, tools that you can look back at and share with our listeners that made a tangible change to this conversation that we're having right now?
I think that HR, apart from the day-to-day support that we give to our managers in terms of managing conflict or people challenges, I think we want the business managers to know that there is this whole ecosystem that is available at their disposal to leverage to be able to, manage their teams. So be it cutting edge policies, be it, learning programs, be it growth opportunities, career opportunities, be it if they want training, if they want support. I think what managers need to understand that there is this whole ecosystem that is available at their disposal and they don't have to do it on their own.
No, that's a very valid point. And I think it leads perfectly into my next question, which is it's not always only about the tangible systems or tools that you are supported by. It's also sometimes internal habits or mindsets, right, that can set you up for success. So are there any specific habits or mindsets that you think are proving critical for managers to adopt to navigate this evolution effectively?
Yeah, I think a few stand out. I've seen that the ones that are really managing this well, they are full of curiosity. I think just the willingness to keep learning as the world of work evolves. Second is empathy, combined with accountability. Managers really need to understand their people deeply while still being very clear about expectations around performance. And finally, I think the comfort with ambiguity. Because today's world is so dynamic. I think somebody who's not able to come to terms with the dynamism of the constantly changing world, I think is going to struggle. So whether it is technology or, even business priorities or workforce expectations, and these things are evolving all the time. Like in the 6 years of my role in Havas, I have just seen how business priorities have changed based on things which are not even in our control, be it COVID or be it the growth that we have in mind or, just the change in people. So a lot of things change and people who are not able to accommodate, managers who are not able to accept these changes, they often, struggle. So I think people who have these qualities, like I said, curiosity, empathy, and also comfort with ambiguity, I think they are the ones who will do well. They are the ones who can stay grounded while navigating through these different scenarios with their teams.
I also do want to take that a step further because, we talk a lot about alignment between HR and managers. I mean, honestly, it's one of those relationships that can make or break culture in an organization. But what does strong alignment actually look like in practice, do you think, Vandana?
Strong alignment shows up when HR and managers, they see themselves as partners in shaping the employee experience. It's not about HR doing some things on its own or managers doing something on their own. In practice, it literally means, managers are involved early in conversations around policies, culture, initiatives, or even organizational changes rather than being informed after decisions are made. And you see that tends to happen a lot. So that's, I think, first. It also means that, HR is listening very closely to the realities that managers are facing on the ground and uses those insights to design more practical people strategies. So it's not like HR doing something without really aligning with the business realities. So I think, when that partnership works well, then HR is able to provide frameworks and direction while managers are bringing it to life in everyday interactions with their teams. Like I said, they don't have to do it alone. They have all the ecosystem, they have the support, and it's not just HR, right? They have IT, they have admin, they have finance, they have all of this ecosystem which is there to help them succeed and manage their teams better. So I think it's a partnership where one is listening, one is providing, one is leveraging, to make this work.
And to follow up on that, where do you think organizations will typically get it wrong? What does, misalignment look like?
I think the gap often appears when the initiatives that, HR rolls out are well-intentioned, but not necessarily grounded in operational realities. Sometimes policies or programs are designed centrally, without fully understanding the pressures that managers are already under. Because of that, managers experience these initiatives as additional work rather than meaningful support. So I think the organizations that get it right, they tend to co-create solutions with managers. They test the ideas in smaller pilots and then continuously refine based on the kind of feedback that they get from managers or even the general experience from employees. And that, I think, is one way to kind of bridge the gap.
I think also, Vandana, when we look at today's evolving work landscape overall, right? Because there are so many moving parts, not just for individual roles, but for the organization in general, I think everyone's always on the lookout for some sustainable ways of working. So when we talk about this evolution of a manager's roles and responsibilities, I think a big part of the conversation also becomes, how can I make work more effective, more productive, more valuable or value-driven for my team, right? So in that regard, for any manager out there that's listening to this podcast, are there any simple, actionable practices you think can reduce overload while improving team effectiveness overall?
I think a few simple practices can make a big difference. It doesn't have to be, path-breaking stuff. I think firstly, it's very important to be clear on priorities. When teams know what truly matters, they can focus their energy on more effectively rather than spreading themselves thin, right? Second is meeting discipline, like better meeting discipline. You know how today, people are, there's this concept of death by meeting. I think fewer meetings, clearer agendas, and more thoughtful use of, collaborations rather than for example, some meetings may really not require the whole team to be there. Some you just require a discussion. You don't even need a meeting. So I think some discipline around that. And I think finally, normalizing boundaries. When I think managers must make an effort to build healthy work patterns, taking breaks, respecting non-working hours, and encouraging realistic workloads. I think that creates a more sustainable rhythm for the entire team. So often sustainable work isn't about doing less. It's really about working with more intention and knowing how you can be effective with less.
Yeah, less is more sometimes, I think, at least in the current landscape. And it's really nice to see as well that leaders, managers, and, broader business functions are aligned on this idea of making work more meaningful day after day. I think we're realizing that really needs to be the focus, right? As we arrive at the end of this conversation, Vandana, I think I have just one last question for you, which is that looking ahead in the future, how do you think organizations should define great management? Clearly, there's an overall happening, right? So what would you say defines a great manager or great management in the future?
Great management in the future, which I believe is here, at least in most progressive organizations, will be less about authority, but more about enabling potential. I think the best managers will be those who can build trust, unlock talent, and create environments where people feel both supported but also challenged, because, otherwise people don't enjoy what they do if they're not challenged. So in a world which is today constantly changing, technology is shaping it by the minute, I think the human side of leadership is becoming even more important. So great managers, I think, will be the ones who can combine both strong business thinking with genuine concern and care for people. I think ultimately it's all about creating teams that are capable, resilient, but also motivated to grow together. Today we have a very different generation coming into the workforce. So you need to make sure that you're aligning to what this new generation is really all about. They want to do meaningful work. They want to know that their work is actually making an impact on a lot more than just generating value for your shareholders, right? So I think great managers will have to be mindful about those things as well.
Yeah, and if they embrace it, if they take it with the spirit that it comes, I think it can be a very rewarding job as well, stepping
Absolutely.
into the future. Yeah.
I think that a manager should never forget that they have two roles to play. One is obviously helping the organization achieve its goals, but it's also about creating value in the lives of the people that they are managing on a day-to-day basis. They should see how they are helping them grow and develop and enjoy what they do, but also create next level of leaders. They have to be role models. I think that balance is what they need to manage. And, HR is here to help them do that.
Absolutely, Vandana. I don't think we could have closed out on a more optimistic and hopeful note. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for all of your insights through the conversation today. I think they're really helpful and, set us up to be forward-looking. And I think that's the most important step to take. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine. I really enjoyed responding to your questions. Thank you.
All right. We'll catch you on another episode very soon, everybody. But I hope you've taken all that you could from this episode, and we'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
This is Great FM, a podcast series by Great HR. Produced by Timber Media.